Think it takes a lot of work to keep your pool clean? I sure did until I learned the things I'm going to tell you about in this video. We all want to enjoy our pools, keep them clean and clear, and most importantly, with as little work as possible. The first thing I did when I started installing our pool was throw the included pump and filter right in the shed. I figured I'd save it if I ever needed it in the future for an emergency, but from all I'd seen and read on the internet, this included pump and filter is a complete joke for this pool. Do you have the time to remove, clean, and reinstall the cartridge filter every single day? All that work for less than average filtering and flow? Yeah, I doubt that. I didn't want that myself, so I did some research and came across the Intex 14-inch sand filter and pump unit. It's currently around $210 on Amazon. There are other available size options for this pump, but I decided to go for the 14-inch 2,800 gallon per hour model because I felt a bit of overkill was good, and after 3 years, I'm definitely glad I went with this one. If you look at the pool while it's running, you can see that there is a substantial amount of circulation of the water in the pool at all times. Stronger pump output means better circulation, and that means better filtering. Another reason this pump is so nice is that it makes bigger and heavier sediment easy to clean up off the bottom of the pool. With the water circulating as it does with this pump, it ends up sending the majority of the grit and all the tree trash and such to the bottom middle of the pool, and it sinks right down there and sits in a nice spot for you. Whenever I vacuum, I start right at the bottom center of the pool, and within seconds, the majority of grit and tree trash and all that mess that's fallen in the pool are gone. Another important reason for a stronger pump is to be able to make good use of a skimmer. In my opinion, it's pretty ridiculous that they sell these pools with no skimmer included. They probably don't because they know the janky little pump they sell with it won't be able to support one. The upgraded filter and pump do their fair share of the cleaning, but what about all the stuff on the surface? When we first got the pool, we didn't have a skimmer. Nearly every time we'd get in, my wife or I would have to take about 30 minutes to manually skim the surface. Once I installed a skimmer, the manual skimming was definitely reduced significantly. I'm not going to say that this skimmer gets every single item off the top of the surface, but it does do a good dang job, especially when you consider the price. What I got was an Intex skimmer off of Amazon, and it was around $30. Now, as I alluded to earlier, if you have the original pump that came with the pool, the skimmer will work, but definitely not as efficient. The skimmer is basically a surface vacuum, and without sufficient suction, it ain't going to do much. I install my skimmer here at the output closest to the filter pump unit. With the amount of circulation this pump provides, it sends the surface contaminants straight to the skimmer. I dump the skimmer once every day or two, and the surface of the pool stays clean. The skimmer is definitely a must-have. I will say that after 2 years, I did have to replace my original skimmer with a new one, as the sun finally took its toll on the plastic hoses and they split and broke. There was nothing I could do to fix those things. With these thin plastic hoses we have with these pools, it's just something you're going to have to kind of deal with unless you keep them in shade at all times. This year when I opened the pool, I did not have the skimmer for the first week, and the amount of tree trash that collected on the top surface of the water was pretty impressive. But 20 minutes after installing the new skimmer, the majority of the surface stuff was free of junk and bugs and all that good stuff. It was pretty clear. One tip that I do want to include is that the skimmer comes with a reducer that you're supposed to put into the other output hose that goes towards the filter pump unit. I used this just in the beginning to get the max suction directed to the skimmer, but I did not and would definitely not in the future leave the reducer in the place at all times. With the reducer in that spot, the pump seems to be a bit more noisy. Whether it comes from lack of flow or air bubbles, I'm not sure, but keeping it in at all times could definitely reduce the life of your pump. The next item that's been a huge addition to the pool is a wireless vacuum. For a while, I didn't even know these things existed. These are not large pools that we're using, so the amount of vacuuming required is not a lot if you stay on top of it. Sometimes the grit and dirt you get on the bottom of the pool can be hard to capture if you don't have some sort of vacuum. The first time I tried to vacuum the pool, I borrowed a friend's hose and vacuum head, kind of the old school style you may have seen that attaches to the pool's pump. Even with the hose connected to my larger pump filter unit, I was disappointed at the performance of this method of vacuuming, so I finally got aggravated and gave up. This is when I discovered the wireless vacuum. Personally, I have the jacuzzi model vacuum that I got from a local pool store, which I will put a link to in the description. After purchasing mine, I was told about a vacuum made by Pool Blaster on Amazon that also does have a lot of good reviews. For my jacuzzi vacuum, I paid around $300. The Pool Blasters on Amazon range from $100 to $300. These little wireless vacuums work like a dustbuster, and you can use the vacuum handheld or you can attach it to a skimming pole. Check one of these vacuums out, you definitely will not regret it. Now, I know this video was a bit long-winded, as usual, but I hope you got something from it. A pool is for enjoyment and definitely not for frustration. These items I've talked about have been a great addition to our pool experience, so I wanted to take the time to share them. I have included links below of all the items I spoke about, and I greatly appreciate you guys using those links to check out the items or just to even go to Amazon to get anything. It helps me out a lot. So thank you all for checking it out, and I hope y'all all have a great summer and enjoy your pools. I'm definitely glad it's getting warm again. Y'all take care.